I done said so many times. Y'all know people be liking to report my videos. They probably gonna report this. I don't give a damn. Hello. Oh God. Beautiful human. What is this? The Wheel of Fortune? That just flew out. Let me do my spiel. Hello, beautiful human. I am Princess India. If you are new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. Welcome to the Gemini Cross Watchers Only reading for the month of February. My spiel sounds very different, but anywho, we're gonna jump into your cards. I have cards falling out all over the place. The first one that fell out is the Wheel of Fortune. And the first thing that came to my mind was the seasons of change. Gemini, you guys coming up after I've done all of these other signs. I mean, not Gemini, I mean cross watcher of Gemini. Coming up after I've done all of the other cross watcher signs, that falls right in line with what it is a lot of people are going through right now. It seems as if, and I say seems, but I mean that loosely because it's totally what's happening. Circa December, 21st and whatnot. But it's a lot of karmic cycles that have ended for people in 2020, which is the premise of what 2020 was about for all of us. And shameless plug, if you want to know more about that, then you're going to get the 2021 Wokebook, aren't you? Of course you are. Of course you are, my friend. So anywho, we're going to go ahead and jump into you guys' cards and see what is going on between my cross watchers as well as your Gemini person of interest. So the first card that we have for my cross watchers. Interesting. We have the Hermit card, that's Virgo energy. Then we have the 10 of Cups in the reverse. And then we have the Fool in the reverse. Two major arcanas. That's interesting. Okay, so cross watchers of Gemini, what it is looking like is at present, two things. At present, you guys are kind of in a solo dolo kind of mode. You're thinking back on what has been and what used to be, and I feel on some level or another, you guys are holding yourself back from engaging with people. For most of you, it's because of what this 10 of Cups in the reverse is representing, which is really speaking to a relationship, if you will, not panning out the way that you would have hoped or desired. What I feel is stepping to the forefront would really be a person leaving. So, I mean, whether that's them moving somewhere else or them literally just kind of getting up and leaving. I feel at one point or another, you felt this person, this particular Gemini person would be your end all be all. This is getting really deep. With this Hermit card, let me say it like this. It's 7 of Cups energy for me with this Hermit card that I'm seeing, because it's kind of missing the boat on what it is that Spirit intended for this panning out the way that it did. So if we backtrack a little bit, my cross watcher would have been dealing with a Gemini person. It did not pan out the way that you hoped it would, or you guys are taking a break, you broke up, whatever. Now, the whole purpose of this leaving you in this solitary energy, like this, aloneness, if you will, is for a very specific purpose. However, okay, thank you, Spirit. That's how that works. So if we take into account this Wheel of Fortune card that fell out, we're talking about seasons of change, right? So with the seasons of life, we're talking about sowing, we're talking about reaping. If we go even deeper and kind of pull back to a little bit of medieval tarot up in here, then we're talking about what the Wheel of Fortune was way back when, where for my tarot enthusiasts out there, back in the day, the Wheel of Fortune had 4 flags that were all the way around it. And the flag said, I reign, I have reigned. The other one said, I will reign. And then the one at the bottom said, I have no kingdom, right? So it talks about these cycles of life, 4 cycles of life that all of us go through that are, synonymous with the seasons. So it's you having nothing. It's you being in the hopeful state of one day having something. You having the something and then you having had the something, right? So it's like you've been there, done that type of deal, right? So I say all of that to say that taking into account what it is that I'm seeing for you guys have shifted seasons, right? So the previous season was you know, reigning, right? So it's you being with this Gemini person. Things have shifted to you having been with this person, or it being in a place where it's kind of like the lowest kind of state, which would be like, you know, I have no kingdom, if you will. And I feel you guys are in this season for a specific reason, because it's supposed to be preparing you to get back into that hopeful state, right? Of I will reign, or I will fall in love again. I will connect with another human being again. However, it's a misuse of the time. You guys are, or I'm not going to say everybody, but whoever resonates with this, you guys are using this time to wallow over what has not worked, or what went wrong, or what could have been, or what should have been, given if situation or circumstances were different, if the timing was different, or what have you. And that's of no service to you, to be quite honest. So it's more or less spending an entire season that is intended to prepare you for the next thing that's coming, right? And you misusing the energy of this time frame to wallow, right? So in other words, with this Fool in the reverse, when it comes to a time for you to be ready to surrender to love, if you will, because that's how I see the Fool card in this deck, with you guys supposed to be using this time to prepare yourself to, you know, be in another relationship, it's, or meeting someone else, or rejuvenating whatever it is that you and this Gemini person had. You're instead wallowing, you're focused on what has went awry, you're vibing in low vibe energy, thus putting you in a position to where you're offsetting your future, if that's making sense, because you're not going to be prepared for what's coming for you, for the new beginning that's coming for you, because you're still stuck in this old dead energy, if you will, right? Now, with your Gemini person of interest, we have the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. Ooh, child. And then we have the Sun in the reverse. And then we have the Queen of Chalices. So here is the deal. With this Gemini person, the premise, I would say, of the two of you coming together was more or less for the purpose of them coming into a place of emotional availability, for them to be emotionally vulnerable, the things about themselves that they have a tendency to hide, right? Because I feel like a lot of shame and guilt with this. And of course, you know, the Sun in the reverse is a card that represents burnout. And in the context of this, it's burnout that comes from living in the approachable face, if you will. So it's always needing to fit a certain criteria, or show up a certain way to certain people, or be a certain person for certain people, or what have you, right? And it's this person kind of burning themselves out energy wise, because as opposed to them showing up as their authentic self, right? It's more or less them showing up as who you expected them to be, or who, you know, their conditioning expected them to be, or what have you, right? So more or less with my cross watcher, it's like it's looking for this person to connect with you in a very, you know, emotionally available kind of way, a very vulnerable way, and an inability for them to do that, and that in turn taxing them and wearing themselves out. However, with this Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, the whole purpose as to why it is that the two of you connected in the first place, meaning in the bigger picture of things, of how it is that Spirit was using both of you to help each other out, was what I talked about in Taurus, and I believe Aries reading too, is this whole mirror effect thing that seems to be the theme of all of the readings in February. It's more or less for you to see a part of yourself in the other person, and for you to do the work to strengthen that part of yourself, or cut off that part of yourself, or what have you. But I feel the whole premise with this, with you guys, was self-love. And I feel like that's something that both of you aren't doing. So The same way that my cross watcher person is isolating themselves and thinking about what went awry, it's more or less with the Gemini person. They're still very much seated into this lack thereof of self-love and kind of miss the boat as well. You know what I mean? So this was like a challenge for both of you, but it's really looking like to me that both of you have missed the boat on this, if you will, because I really feel that was the purpose of this connection. Now, with this Queen of Cups that they have here, it's more or less similar to how it is with you two, is them going forward, but it's almost like you guys rounded this about very different. It's the Gemini person going forward, desiring someone who will like nurture them, pay attention to them, someone who will, you know, validate their emotions or whatever the case may be. And I can't say, well, I mean, I don't want to say it like that. I don't want to say that it's not going to happen, but I just feel like on both sides, this is two sides of one coin that's very unrealistic. And I see people do this so often. It's like, it's a misconception on both sides of thinking that the issue or problem in a partnership is the other person and not you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, sticking with this Gemini person, it's almost as if the purpose of the two of you coming together was, and I can say this for both of you, was for both of you to come to a place of self-love within yourself, right? But then you guys separate and my cross watcher is wallowing. The Gemini person is not necessarily wallowing, but it's like they completely missed the point. So it's like their realization is just like, oh, I just need to find someone else. Like this person just wasn't the right person. So I just need to find someone else who's going to love me better. But the thing that they're not realizing is the reason why they can't connect with people is because of them being afraid to open themselves up. You know, so it's like the most epic block in their romantic connections, relationships, partnerships, what have you, is the fact that they're coming into partnerships and relationships already completely closed off. And if I were to put my therapist hat on for 2.5 seconds, that would be saying to me that it's like a distorted self-concept. It's like this person has a mindset where they already see themselves as faulty, broken, wrong, or something along those lines. So they try to suppress that part of themselves or put up some sort of facade or be what it is that they think that you want them to be. And the difference between this and like what I saw in the Taurus reading is I don't really necessarily feel that the cross watcher is aware of this, because if the cross watcher was aware of this, then this Hermit card, the way that I'm seeing it, wouldn't be here. So it's Gemini has an issue, the cross watcher has an issue, but now that you guys have gone your separate ways, you both missed the boat because the cross watcher is doing what they have a history of doing, which is blaming themselves for why relationships don't work out, blaming themselves for why people don't open up, blaming themselves for why a person didn't connect with you. And the Gemini person is walking away with this mindset of thinking it's just the wrong person, and that isn't correct either. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like the cross watcher internalizing what it is that the Gemini person is thinking, but that doesn't necessarily make the Gemini person like the quote unquote bad person either. It's like what I'm seeing from my stance, which is a marriage between these two energies that I'm seeing, is that both of you missed the boat. It's like neither one of you are fully invested in self-love, which is what drew the two of you together in the first place, is the fact that you have two people who are looking for something in another person, hence the mirror effect, right? So you have two people who have some perceived void within themselves that are looking to romantic relationships to fill that void, right? And with the cross watcher, when there's a rejection or things don't work out, you have a tendency to blame yourself and torture yourself with ideas of this person being with someone else. You know what I'm saying? And then you have another person, which is the Gemini on the other side of the coin, that is already closed off, right? That's thinking that the solution to their problems is the quote unquote right person, if that's making sense, you know? But that isn't really going to get anyone anywhere. I feel like I want to pull more cards on this, to be quite honest, because this is fascinating. 7 of Swords, 7 of Wands, and the 9 of Wands in the reverse. Ooh, so here's the thing. This is wild. Okay, so here's the thing. This feels kind of twin flamey. I'm not lying, just for the simple fact that it's like, no, I'm not. No, let me go ahead and censor myself. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, this is a twin flame relationship and you guys should stay in this pervasive, toxic, self-deprecating situation because it's totally okay for people to treat each other like shit and call it a divinely guided partnership. No, that is not in any way, shape, form, or fashion what it is that I'm saying. What I'm saying with this is, if we think about twin flames in the context of which I talked about it in my book, is it's not necessarily guaranteed or meant for two people to psychologically, emotionally, or physically abuse and deprecate each other to oblivion, and somehow two wrongs making a right to somehow come out positive. No, that's not what the premise of this is. So it's not saying in the sense of like self-deprecation to one day everybody's healed and they fall in love and live happily ever after. This is more or less in the context of it being a training ground or a transmutation ground, if you will, where you have two people that come together that both have a similar problem. The other person is the most idyllic partner in order for you to work out whatever it is that you have, because you can see a clear side of yourself in the mirror. But the thing that I'm seeing here is the common thing that I see happen with these things that people call twin flame relationships is you have one person who's extroverted, another person that's introverted. The person who's extroverted has a tendency to blame the outside world for their issues and their problems and believe that things don't go right because of other people. You know what I'm saying? It's always the other person's fault. You know, there's nothing wrong with me. It's like they're just screwed up on some stuff, right? But then you have the other person who believes that it's all my fault. I'm the source of the problem and they're going to be happy with someone else because I'm screwed up and blah, 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 blah. But at the root of it, it's two people who perceive themselves internally the same way, it's just manifested differently, right? With the 7 of Swords here, y'all know every time I see the 7 of Swords, I always say, which a skip will trip you up later. This is the later in which both people in this connection are being tripped up, because you have one person who's looking to the next thing, which would be the Gemini person, as being the solution to their problems. And you have another person who's, you know, just getting reinforced that they are the source of the issue here, if you will, right? But again, both people are still completely missing the boat. Both people are still not having a new beginning because they're still stuck in the same energetic cycle, right? Now, with this 7 of Wands, the thing that we're talking about here is both of you guys stepping into the authenticity of who it is that you actually are. For a Gemini person, in order for that to happen, they would actually have to face themselves and be willing to open themselves up. Other than that, they would continue to perpetuate this same cycle with every single person that they date on into the ethers. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be consistently thinking this wasn't the right person, the next one will, but they're not stopping to think, what about me though? Like, what about the fact that you're not opening up because deep down inside, you feel that there's something about yourself that is inherently flawed and you're covering it up, right? Another person isn't going to fix that. People are going to respond the same way that you guys have in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? But it's the same thing with the cross watchers as well. It's like, if you are allowing every single situation that you're in to reinforce what you already believe about yourself, the issue is not the situations that you're in. It's not the people that you date. So we can't really wag our finger at the Gemini person because, like I said, you guys are two sides of the same coin. The same way that they are not being emotionally vulnerable, the cross watchers in no way, shape, form are any different. You guys are not emotionally vulnerable, because just like how they feel that they have an inherent flaw, you feel that you have an inherent flaw. They have an unconscious inherent flaw. They feel that the issue isn't them. They're projecting their flaw onto everyone else. This person doesn't love me because they're flawed. And you guys believe that person doesn't love me because I'm flawed. You feel what I'm saying? That's that whole mirror effect that's happening here. So the whole purpose of this connection of the two of you coming together was for the sole purpose of both of you, not just one of you, but both of you seeing that the traumas that you've experienced in the past is what have gotten you to this place. But it's like, this is supposed to be the season in which my cross watcher who's looking at this is intended to see it. I would say the same thing for this Gemini person, but they're not. It's like they're still in the same cycle. But because you're the one who's watching me, you have the opportunity to take this wisdom and implant it into your life. So that means that you can change the way that this is heading out. Otherwise, you and this person would continue to move forward the same way that you are. Even if y'all were not together, this person is going to keep thinking that the next person is going to be the thing that fixes them. And you're just going to meet another person that's going to reinforce what it is that you already believe about yourself. So the whole premise of this is my cross watchers coming to a place to where you uproot the seed of discord in this way that you feel about yourself that is not correct, right? The way that we end up perpetuating our wounds is that it's unfinished business, AKA like Wheel of Fortune type of thing. So you're going to continuously meet people that are going to make you feel the way that it is you already feel inside with any of us. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you've been through. The reason why you feel the way that you feel about yourself right now, unless you've elevated yourself from that and taken back control of your mind and your emotions and your will, the way that you feel about yourself right now today, especially if it's low vibrational, all of that comes from all of the people who have reinforced the same belief that one person made you feel eons ago. You know, it's like a person implanting or impregnating you with a seed of shame and or guilt, right? One person somewhere in your life, whether it's a parent, whether it's a grandparent, auntie, cousin, brother, sister, grandma, don't matter. If it's your first romantic partner, the person you lost your virginity to that broke your heart and left you, it don't matter who it is. But someone implanted something in you that you were not born with. None of us were born with a poor self-concept and look at ourselves as if we ain't shit, ain't never gonna be shit. You know what I'm saying? That comes from some external voice, somebody outside of yourself that made you believe, impregnated you with that seed, proverbially speaking, that made you think something in contrast to yourself. Because that is a belief, because we attract what it is that we are, you're going to continuously attract people, situations, and circumstances that are in reflection of that seed that someone else implanted into you, right? So all of these situations are going to reinforce what it is that the seed is. It's the fruit of the seed, right? So if you had someone who you encountered for the first time, that for the first time in your life made you feel like you ain't shit and you not worthy of love, you will keep meeting people like that, right? Not because, you know, spirit wants to torture you or life sucks or anything like that. It's for you to eradicate that. It's for you to understand that. How dare you allow another human being with the same brain in their head as you to determine or declare or speak over your life who and what you are and what you are or not capable of, whether you're desirable or not. Who the fuck are they? That's what Princess says. You know what I'm saying? So you never allow another human being to determine your fate, because who are they in the bigger scheme of things? When you think about your own personal value system, the only reason why you've even entertained such of a asinine idea is because in some sense or another, you value that person and where they stand. And the main question of deliverance that one needs to ask themselves is, who are they really? And why the hell do you value their opinion? Us being who it is that we are, priceless beings and aspects of God, how dare we allow specifically low vibrational cretin human beings to determine our own personal value? That's when we make a person an idol. That's when we put a person above God, to be quite honest. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't give two shits and a fuck about what it is that spirit thinks about you, what your friends think about you. You know what I'm saying? What anyone who is really valuable in your life thinks about you. Instead, you allow your self-concept and self-perception to be tainted by people who really ain't shit, by people who are dealing with the same stuff that you're dealing with. Someone to tell you that you're less than, that also does not really love or care about themselves. And that's what you have to sit back and ask yourself. Why is it that you value this person's opinion so much? You know what I'm saying? Because the only thing that really matters is what you think about you. And that sounds like one of those old mom, like pick me up kind of quotes, but it's very, very true, dude. It's like, if I say nothing else to you and you listen to nothing else that I ever say, it would most certainly be that. What other people think about you is neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? Unless you decide to make those people your God. But if they're not, then what does it really matter? If a person doesn't like how you look, how you talk, you know what I'm saying? It all comes back to you. If you want things in your life to be different, you have to bring all of this stuff in your subconscious that is consistently drawing people, situations, and circumstances into your life daily, into your consciousness, for you to ever have a chance to change your experience. That is the only way that it can be done. There is no way around it. You cannot stay fucked up on the inside and think somehow, some way, like this Gemini person is thinking, that somehow, some way you're going to draw a perfect person in, because that's not what you are. You know what I'm saying? No one person is going to save you from yourself or prove to you something that you don't already believe about yourself. You know, the only thing people can do is reinforce that. If you think that you're great, and people tell you, hey, you're dope, you're great, they're just reinforcing what it is that you already know. But if on the inside you're feeling that you ain't shit, and people are like, you ain't shit, don't nobody want you, no one's ever gonna love you, they're just reinforcing what it is that you already know. If your self-concept is strong enough to the point that a person can tell you some stuff like that, and you're like, if you don't get the hell out of my face with that foolishness, you know what I'm saying? That's when you have a strong self-resolve. I don't know how this becomes a whole lecture where I'm preaching at y'all cross watchers, but it's literally the truth. You guys have encountered a person that is no different than you, but the most important thing is not this person, it's you. It's the fact of, and even if, because I just heard it, Gemini, if you're in here cross watching yourself when you're not supposed to be in here anyway, you know what I'm saying? You take this the same way. You know what I'm saying? If you, it's the reverse, because I know y'all just nosy, but you take it in the reverse. If your person that you're watching this for would be in this role of where I'm talking about the Gemini, the same goes for you. You know what I'm saying? It's the simple fact of internalizing other people's beliefs. And it's enough of that. And I would say personally why I get so passionate behind this, because I see this too much in a day or in a week, in a month, and God forbid in a year, of seeing so many people who are carrying burdens on their back that were given to them by other people. And they never stop to think, like, they're carrying this proverbial cross, but no one is ever stopping to think where this cross came from in the first place. And when we start to deconstruct these things, you start to see that it's other people's thoughts you are thinking, and these other people really ain't shit in real life. Oh my goodness, like they're really not shit in real life. Like these are people who are scoundrels, the lowest of the low. And you have amazing, beautifully gifted, talented, spiritually gifted people who beat themselves down for people who don't know their asshole from a goddamn hole in the ground and have no concept of anything outside of themselves and are so lost in their humanness, my God, that it's sad, not to mention shameful. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be cognizant of that, dude. Stop giving other people so much power. And I didn't say shit so many times. Y'all know people be liking to report my videos. They probably gonna report this. I don't give a damn. But dude, these are literally, like, I mean, the vibe I feel with this is freaking insane, yo. It's like, it's someone who's beating themselves up over someone who really, in the realest sense, really ain't shit. And why are you letting ain't shit people make you think that you ain't shit when they really ain't shit? I mean, ain't shit. You understand what I'm saying? Gemini, I don't know. This has been your reading. You know what I'm saying? It was very interesting. I think y'all take the cake today. I'm just saying. But anywho, I'm going over to Vimeo, Patreon, my website, and YouTube members to do you guys extended. So if you're about that life, follow me on over there, my friend. But if not, still love your face. You know what I'm saying? And I will see you guys sooner than later. I dare y'all to count how many times I cussed and put it in the comments. Do it.